Now, we'll pick it up from there as we also move forward with how this meeting is also going to be a big challenge as to the delay in the agreement is being seen. And as the statements have come, and you also have also quoted that there is a good news that press conference have happened, but to also that ended quite abruptly. Now, Manan Dwivedi is also with me live on the broadcast. How do you view from the optics of it, the meeting that has went for 3 hours, and what position is this leaving Russia to also come and mediate better on the front for stopping its offensive in Ukraine?
I personally feel that it would have been inexplicable to expect that some sort of an solution or some sort of a denouement could come out of this symmetry between President Donald Trump and Putin. I personally felt that because of the kind of diplomatic air which was being pre-summit talk that was being shared with the world media and the global audience, the kind of conditions which Zelensky had placed and what all was the diplomatic posturing of Vladimir Putin. From looking into these, it was very much clear that a one-off solution in Alaska will not happen. I had already forecasted that there will not be a solution which will be reached. But the best part is that Putin, while going off back to Russia, after receiving a red carpet welcome from President Trump, and President Trump himself went in and he welcomed Vladimir Putin personally on the tarmac in Anchorage in Alaska. So that goes down as a first, which can serve as a good sign that things are going to be better and more positive and in the affirmative in the future. But let's look into the conditions. Vladimir Putin had said that Russia will keep the regions of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, and other places which have already been invaded in and captured by the Russian forces. Very much in line with what happened in the case of Symmetry in 2014 when Russia captured Crimea. And Zelensky has made it very clear that not a single inch of territory would be ceded to Vladimir Putin. Apart from that, Zelensky has also aired his concern about the ability of Kyiv joining the grouping of NATO. And Vladimir Putin, as a precondition, has also mentioned as a precondition to Alaska that Ukraine won't be allowed to become a member of NATO. And apart from that, issues are there of collateral damage. And President Donald Trump also passed on a letter from his better half to Vladimir Putin, where his wife has raised voices about the condition of children and women in Ukraine because of the heavy and indiscriminate bombardment which has been witnessed in Ukraine. So I personally feel a lot of positives can be taken out as a takeaway out of the symmetry that has gone on. But it was very much expected that a series of talks would be required, wherein a proper working and functional understanding can be realized or can be achieved between Moscow and White House. But the thing that is rankling for me, the thing that is slightly exceptional for me, happens to be that Zelensky should also have been invited as a tripartite talk in Alaska. But Trump had promised earlier, he let the thaws be discussed completely, let the differences be deliberated upon, and in the next chain of talk that will happen somewhere, and it might be Moscow now, as Putin had said, then Zelensky would be invited to become part of it. So it seems like once again a kind of public diplomacy or an event management kind of a thing, or an entity in media diplomacy which occurred in Alaska. And before signing off, I would just say that Alaska also bears historical importance for both America and Russia, because it was in 1867 that after paying $61 million Russia sold off Alaska to America, and since then, Alaska played a great role in World War II because the nearest Russia can get to America happens to be the snowy wastes of Alaska only. And in World War II also, the Anchorage base where the talks occurred between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump, that happened to be a key air base at that point of time, fighting against the Jerry's and the Axis group of parts. Coming back to the present, I would just like to contend that things are going to be better and the conflict might better off, but still seeing the autocratic and the dictatorial nature of Vladimir Putin, I think Zelensky will have to be prepared for another round of ammunition barrages on his people, and there would be more collateral damage, which has been so much criticized and which has led to the International Criminal Court uh, issuing a warrant in the name of Vladimir Putin, and he cannot go to several countries for attending meetings such as in SCO and in BRICS. I personally feel acrimony has to be reduced, but Vladimir Putin is no worse off than Trump, and he will continue the barrage on Ukraine. Till then, America has to do the efforts, and maybe we would be very happy if Trump gets the Nobel Prize. But still, the lives and the livelihood and the condition of tranquility and peace should be achieved in Ukraine. That is how I would look at the panning out situation in the post-Alaska phase. That is how it is.
All right, Manan Dwivedi, thank you very much, sir.